historic day. Today is a very historic day that we are celebrating the trans lives, and we are honoring the lives who are still sacrificing their lives to promote diversity. So first of all, I want to, you can say, dedicate this vigil and pray for the trans souls who sacrifices their lives, because on 20 November we celebrate a Transgender Day of Remembrance. So I pray to God that resolve the root out the injustice, ignorance, and cruelty that grow despair. And we pray to God that all those who perpetrate hate and violence will speedily come to understand that your creation has many faces, many genders, many holy expressions. So this is my prayer, uh, and I hope you all are praying for the lives of transgender people. So thank you very much. This is from my side. This is a special dedication and a vigil to all those souls who sacrifices their lives. So people can other people are joining. Um, so
Yeah, while other participants are joining, we can continue with the session.
yeah. So let's start our session today. Thank you, Pupal, that you did my introduction in very, you can say. So I'm basically a LGBTQ right activist from Pakistan, and I'm belonging to a region which is very near to Afghanistan border, and I have 12 years of experience working with transgender and LGBTQ grassroots communities, and I'm the one who are take part in drafting of Transgender Protection of the Right Act 2018. So I'm in those you can say trailblazers who are working to promote gender diversity in Pakistan. So this is my introduction. So I want to share with you that Transgender Day of Remembrance is an annual day of observance on November 20 that honor the lives of transgender, non-binary, and gender non-conforming people who have been victims of anti-transgender violence. So this is a picture of Pakistan where our trans sisters are praying for the lives of murdered transgender persons. So in 1999, by advocate Gwendolyn N. Smith, to commemorate Rita Hayser, a transgender woman killed in 1998. So Transgender Day of Remembrance has since become an annual tradition of remembrance and advocacy. Transgender Day of Remembrance in Pakistan commemorating lives lost to violence, mourns victims of hate crimes, transphobic violence, particularly in conservative areas with high incidents. As I belong to Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, a province very near to Afghanistan border, and traditions and customs of both Pakistan and my area are same. So here is a 100% increase in the violence in my area. So on this day, our objective is to highlighting human rights violations which is done in our area, like in Pakistan and Afghanistan, and we want to raise awareness of rights abuses faced by transgender persons. Despite the Transgender Person Protection of the Right Act 2018, this includes discrimination in healthcare, employment, and public services. So we need advocacy and solidarity. So the objective of today's session is that side by side praying, we also want to advocate through vigils, through rallies and discussions to promote enforcement of protections and social acceptance. and fostering solidarity and across the LGBTQ plus communities and allies. So our focus is on the advocacy on this day, because there is a long run has to come for the transgender people in Pakistan. So, in this slide, we want to discuss with you the historic context of Pakistan and Afghanistan, about the diverse people, or you can say LGBTQ people, or transgenderism. So, in Pakistan, conservative culture and religious norms are inherited. As you all know, that in Pakistan, gender roles remain strictly defined, with men as breadwinners and head of family, as patriarchal society, and women confined to domestic roles, limiting autonomy and restricted access to education and public spaces. So this is the scenario of Pakistan. And in historically, in South Asia, traditionally acknowledge gender diversity, particularly through Hijra community. A group often seen as third gender, including transgender individual, has long held unique cultural roles in society. In Pakistan, mostly Hijra people or Hijra community, which is known also as transgender women or castrated men, uh, who are mostly doing, you can say, with high in marriage ceremonies, in newborn baby ceremonies. So they are mostly doing begging type of things in Pakistan, just because of the marginalization. So we have a lot of challenges. Despite this history, transgender individuals now face severe marginalization, discrimination, violence, healthcare barriers, and legal exclusion in both countries. So transgender people are historically visible in our society, in whole South Asia, including Pakistan and Afghanistan. But due to these conservative cultural and religious norms, these people are criminalized by the government and also by the society. So legal protection for the transgender right in Pakistan. As you know, the perspective of Afghanistan, that Afghanistan currently under the Taliban rule, and all the transgender people fled from Afghanistan, and now they are take refuge in Pakistan. They cross the border and come to Peshawar, which is a near city to Afghanistan border, or you can say Torkham border. So transgender Afghan transgender person take refuge to Pakistan, but in Pakistan, we had a lot of problems already with our own host community transgender persons. But still, we are, you can say, open our hearts and give refuge to our trans sisters who are coming across border to Pakistan. But we still are facing so many challenges. Despite of this truth that we have a legislation in the name of Protection of the Right Act 2018, which is enacted by the Parliament of Pakistan in 2018. But still, we are, you can say, this, you can say, facing challenges. The law aims to legally recognize transgender people in the country. It also allows them to legally have the same rights as cisgender people. In written shape, we had a lot of, you can say, rights, like right of inheritance is also written in the Transgender Right or Protection Right Act. Right of identity as third gender is also included. Right of health, right of education, everything is written in the this act. But the question is that this law is not implemented fully in Pakistan, because there is a lacunas, and there is, you can say, religious parties who are opposing this act, and right wing parties are opposing this act because they are saying that this law is un-Islamic, and this law is, you can say, fluidating our cultural values and norms, and this law is violating our Islamic or religious culture, because it is very near to LGBTQ and they are, you can say, flourishing the Western agenda in our country. So all these negative things are, you can say, push back our law, and authorities are also, you can say, push back in the country, and they are now, you can say, challenging this law in Shariat court, which is the court in Pakistan. So, so growing challenges despite legal protections are the act provides legal recognition and protections but lacks proper implementation. Persistent social stigma and discrimination. Transgender individuals continue to face entrenched prejudice and marginalization. Extremist ideologies, anti-transgender sentiments especially in conservative regions, fueled by extremist beliefs. As you know, that in Pakistan, once again, Talibanization, terrorism, and extremism is on peak, and we are now facing the suicide bombers are flowing everywhere in northern part of Pakistan. In this situation, the lives of transgender are 100% times more at risk. No, so it's very hard nowadays. So despite of this very limited employment opportunities we had, discrimination restricts access to formal employment, forcing many into informal sectors such as begging and sex work. In Pakistan, transgender people have only two choices. The one is begging and the other is sex work. So they had no other options that they can do in Pakistan. Current situation. So in current situation, the transgender persons are in high risk because incident of violence between 2015 to 2023, over 91 transgender individuals were killed in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. Khyber Pakhtunkhwa is a province from which I belong, is very near to, you can say, border with Afghanistan, and it is one of the most, you can say, extremist or risky area for the transgender people, with over 200 cases of violence reported against the trans community nationwide. So prevalence of physical and intimate partner violence is also 99% high of transgender individuals have experienced physical violence and intimate partner violence in Pakistan. Discrimination and mistreatment. Transgender individuals continue to face discrimination in healthcare settings and public services, education, and employment sectors. Social stigma and lack of acceptance is also widespread, and social rejection by families and society driven by extremist ideologies and conservative values fuels anti-transgender sentiments in various regions. Escalating reports of violence. Physical violence, sexual assault, and murder targeting transgender individuals are on rise. So we are seeing that day by day. Yesterday, I saw a report that a transgender individual called Dolphin, she was sexually assaulted by 20 men, and then they made her nude video as well, and and then they shared her nude video on social media. Na? So these type of incidents are very common in Pakistan, and transgender women especially are the target of these extremist group who first of all raped transgender individuals, and then they made videos from this nude parts, and then they shared these videos to with whole on social media. So this type of incidents are on rising in Pakistan. So I want to share a case study with you, which is a transgender woman, Noor Rahman alias Babli. Noor Rahman alias Babli, a transgender woman from Peshawar, was brutally murdered in Buner. Buner is a city in Pakistan in the name of honor. The first information report was lodged at the Sawabi City Police Station, Buner, with charges of murder and rioting against the victim's brother. Abdurrahman, and his accomplices. However, after 2 months, the Peshawar High Court granted bail to the accused, citing insufficient evidence and the victim father's consent. Bubbly tragic death is part of a disturbing pattern of rising honor killings and violence against transgender individuals in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, where legal you can say recourse remains limited. This case is not an isolated case. Similar incidents have been reported in Kohat, Swat, Buner, Mardan, and Peshawar, with transgender individuals often targeted in the name of honor. As an activist, when we raise our voices through protest or press conferences, we became the next target. The families of murdered transgender individuals often forgive the perpetrators, which contribute to escalating violence. While bills related to transgender rights have been passed, such as in 2018 Right Act, the reality on the ground remains dire. The laws are not being properly enforced. So, being an activist, we raise the voice against this, you can say, like this you can say barbarity, or you can say so then we are the next target, being a transgender right activist. So now the human rights and transgender right activists are also on the target of these extremist group because we are raising our voices. So I, being a transgender, you can say, right activist, are receiving so many phone calls from the extremists that you are talking to media and you are talking to legal aspects of trans community. So you are our next target because you are exposing us. Na? So we are in the situation of fear nowadays because like bubbly, we are seeing these type of cases every day in our lives. So the situation is very much, you can say, disappointed. Impact of Talibanization and extremism on transgender individuals. Increased violence and persecution, targeted attacks. The rise of Talibanization in Pakistan has led to increased violence against transgender individuals. Extremist group view transgender people as immoral and often target them for physical attacks, harassment, and even murder. These attacks are frequently unpunished, creating a climate of fear and impunity. When these groups are seeing that there is no check and balance, there is no, you can say, judiciary system who protect trans individual, so they are now on you can say more in power, and they you can say in daytime they are shooting the trans individuals, and they are doing murders of trans individuals because they are saying that there is no law and order and there is no protection of trans people. So now they are you can say doing these things with very big heart. Honor killing is another issue. Under extremist ideologies, transgender individuals are subjected to honor killing by their own families or communities who reject their existence. As you know that in extremist part, people don't like that a pupa, a boy born with the boy body, and now she is doing, you can say, transgenderism and wearing female clothes. So this is a type of dishonor for the parents. So in a result, they first you can say excluded them from their home, from their family ties, and then when transgender individual started you can say alteration, or started surgeries, or started being a trans true self, then they do honor killing of trans individuals because of their identity, because of their came out. So social exclusion and marginalization just because of cultural and religious stigma. Extremist ideologies reinforce cultural and religious stigma, labeling transgender people as sinful or unworthy of social acceptance. So, this deepens their marginalization, exclusion from mainstream society. So internal displacement, many transgender individuals are, you can say, forced to flee from their homes due to the threat of violence and persecution, leading to internal displacements in search of safety. So mostly our Afghan refugee transgender pupils who are not safe in Pakistan, and they are not, they are also not safe in Pakistan and Afghanistan. So they take refuge to European countries because they feel that if we live here, someone will kill us. So they take refuge to European countries, and they you can say they go on feet from different parts of world, and they reach out to take asylum in European countries. So this is just because of the situation and prevailing situation in this area. So as you know that psychological consequences of violence is like myself, I am also a patient of depression and anxiety just because of you can say emotional violence, just because of physical violence, and I am on you can say on medication as well. So mostly our trans individuals are in depression, suicidal ideation, and self-harm, low self-esteem. They are also doing, you can say, substance use. They use ice. They used a fume. They faced social isolation. They faced relationship difficulties, identity confusion, gender dysphoria. So all these things contributed to their health and psychological issues. So backlash on Transgender Act and hate speech against transgenderism. Religious opposition. Various religious and conservative groups in Pakistan have criticized the Transgender Act, claiming it violates Islamic principles, particularly regarding gender identity and the recognition of self-perceived gender without religious or medical validation. So mostly religious parties are in the opinion that self-perceived identity is against the values of Islam or our religion. So legal challenges in the Shariat court have created uncertainty around the act's future and slowed down its full implementation. So they filed a petition. So multiple petitions have been submitted to the Federal Shariat Court challenging the Transgender Act, particularly provisions related to gender identity and inheritance rights. So petitioners argue these aspects are incompatible with Sharia law. Sharia law is Islamic law. Ruling from the Federal Shariat Court could lead to significant amendments or event the potential nullification of the act, impacting transgender rights in Pakistan. Strategies. Now we come to strategies to combat violence against transgender individuals. So in feminist movement, uh, in Aurat March, as most of you are very familiar with Aurat March. Aurat March is a feminist movement in Pakistan and occurring every you can say every year on 8th March when we you can say commemorate the International Women's Day. So the feminist movement in Pakistan are also in solidarity with transgender activists. We you can say take advocacy initiatives to combat violence against transgender individuals and advocate for stronger enforcement of Transgender Person Protection of the Right Act 2018, push for full implementation of the act and work to address any gaps in the legislation that leaves transgender individual vulnerable to violence. And we collaborate with government bodies as well. Partner with government agencies to develop and implement targeted policies that ensure the safety of transgender individuals, such as safe housing, employment, protection, and access to healthcare. We engage with lawmakers and policymakers as well, because we start working with lawmakers and government officials to ensure transgender rights are consistently prioritized in national and local policies, advocating for inclusive and protective measures. Aurat March and feminist movement in Pakistan. Aurat March is an annual event held on International Women's Day, March 8, that has become a powerful platform for advocating gender equality and social justice in Pakistan. Over time, transgender individuals have found a growing presence in this movement, joining feminist allies to demand equal rights and safety for our marginalized genders. Background on the Aurat March is that origins and purpose started in 2018. The Aurat March is a grassroots movement led by women, LGBTQ plus individuals, and allies advocating for an end to GBV, equality, and social justice. So, the feminist movement and the right of, you can say, struggle for social justice had same values and same objectives, because both movements are for the same track to, you can say, combat gender-based violence and enhance gender equality and equity in Pakistan. And we say most of legislation are the outcome of this movement, just because the movement is, you can say, a combination of different marginalized groups like religious minorities, like gender minorities, sexual minorities, women rights activists are on the same track to make Pakistan a more inclusive place for the vulnerable groups. So feminist movements are a message that the march highlights issues like bodily autonomy, workplace harassment, reproductive rights, and violence against marginalized communities. So these are the main agenda, you can say, points in Aurat March that highlights that we should have zero tolerance for, you can say, workplace harassment, and we have to promote reproductive rights, that every individual is born free and every individual have their own reproductive rights. And we have to, you can say, combat violence against marginalized communities. So now you can see different art of mine in which I'm sharing that how the transgender lives is in Pakistan. In first drawing, you can say the gun violence, which I made, shows that transgender individuals are beautiful, transgender individuals are courageful, and they are full of aesthetic sense, and they have a very good, you can say, gestures. They are the people who spread love, and they give love to the community. And in Pakistan, transgender individuals who are who are promoting gender equality through their dance as well, because dance is a gesture of peace, music. They sing music. And Khwaja Sara community in Pakistan is very much, you can say, creative. They are very good singers. They are doing very good jobs in makeup industry. Even in fashion industry, they are doing a lot. So transgender people, being a diverse people, need support, need help, and they should be included in all areas of work. And in Pakistan, they faced a lot of, you can say, stigma, discrimination, and violence, uh, because of pressure of the society. Na? So their social status is very much low. in Pakistan. So there is very less livelihood opportunities for trans people. And the other drawing is showing that how psychological effects and you can say violence and you can say bullying with transgender people, how it you can say suffer the mental health of a trans people. So in my drawing, I'm presenting that a trans individual have pain in their mind, have a lot of you can say gender dysphoria type of things, which is just because of all these things. And the other thing, other painting, I made a butterfly with a lot of colors, and I'm very happy that trans people have a very you can say colorful personality. They had very good moods. They enjoy to participate in different events. They are very social as well. In Pakistan, transgender people lives in dera, in small houses with other trans fellows, and we said our fellow transgender people that they are our sangat. Sangat means fellows. So we live like a sangat, and sangat means we have bonds, and these bonds shows to the world that we are very peaceful people, and we spread love and peace to the whole world. But if people allow us to live, and if people allow us to live, we showed to the whole world that we are the peace agents, and we are the promoters of peace and love humanity, because we love humanity, and we have very good souls. In my other drawing, I am portraying that how harasser harass a transgender individual. So basically, these are the harassers. Now, I want to share a poem, a special poem which I write. So I want to share with all of you on this special occasion of Transgender Day of Remembrance. So this is the voice of my heart as well. So I'm very much emotional at that time with this special vigil. And in Pakistan, it's evening, and in evening, God is ready to hear the you can say prayers of human beings. So at that time, I'm praying to God that please, Lord, made our lives easy. So the title of my poem is that trans lives matter. In the valley, in the valley deep where shadows lie, under harshest rules and watchful sky, trans lives bloom like flower rare, but face a world that does not care. In narrow streets, they treat with grace, a fragile strength in every place. Yet whispers turn to shouts of hate. Their steps meet doors that close, not wait. Some find silence too soon, too fast. Lives cut short, dreams of the past. In darkened alleys where fear takes hold, their stories end too cruel, too cold. They lived with truth, though the cost was steep. Their tears ran rivers, yet hearts dug deep. Through turns and stones, through turns and stones, through hands that harm, they carried hope, their only charm. They carried hope, their only charm. In this harsh land where kindness hides, their courage stood where justice slides. Yet many fell to hate's cruel hand. Their blood now stains this 100 land. We light in flame for each lost name. We light a flame for each lost name. For those who faced both fire and shame. We light a flame for each lost name. For those who faced both fire and shame. Trans lives matter, hear the cry. Trans lives matter, hear the cry for those who lived, who had to die. No more silence, silence, no more fear. No more silence, no more fear. We will fight for love, we will keep them near. In every heart, their light will shine. In every heart, their light will shine. A brighter world, their lives define. Thank you very much. And now I open the floor for discussions. So there are some points for discussions, and I want to learn from you, and um, uh, 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 I want to know the situation of trans individual in your country. And if you have any comments or special things which you can say discuss with us or share with us, so please, the floor is in your hands. Please come, join us, and speak with us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Namkeen. That was such a powerful presentation. Thank you for opening up your heart and your knowledge and sharing everything within you with us. I think that even on the chat, everyone is really appreciating you. Thank you for your art and your poetry and all the power that you have brought into the room. And thank you so much for the prompts as well.
Thank you. And once again, I'm very thankful to COFAM that they give us the opportunity as transgender individuals in Pakistan are not, you can say, heard by the world. And this was the opportunity for me that you can say ask from the world that these are our demands and these are our hurdles, and please came join us as feminists to change the lives positively in Pakistan. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. And COFEM as well is really excited to have you in the space. And I have to say that I believe that this is just the beginning of these conversations. And like someone mentioned on the chat, this is the time to have these conversations, to talk through what solidarity means. And so as people in the room reflect about the prompts, we had one question, which I think is probably on the minds of some of the people in the room as well. And no pressure at all, but if you have any thoughts or reflections, the question was about what specific actions we as feminist allies and movements can take to stand in solidarity with the transgender community.
Yeah. So we have to mobilize our government of Pakistan to take serious actions. So being a feminist allies, we can mobilize government of Pakistan that they took steps to empower the transgender community and to combat the violence which the trans community is facing day by day. So being a feminist allies, feminist movement members, we can do this by advocacy with government of Pakistan and with stakeholders who are working in this, you can say, phenomena or these things. So we can do advocacy meetings with them, and also the donor agencies who are funding for different causes in Pakistan. So we can advocate and we can mobilize them that come and join us to empower the transgender community through funding. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for that question. And especially, I think that it's very important to see how we can fundraise and how we can support the movement better. So at this point, I'm going to request if there's any other reflections from the room. If there are any questions, please raise your hand and we'll let you unmute and speak, or you can also share in the chat. I see for now as we wait, there's a reflection on the chat that in addition to the act, the Constitution of Pakistan recognizes transgender persons' right to property, inheritance, voting, education, and so many others. And I know that you mentioned that, yeah, some of these do exist, but its implementation is a bit difficult as well. And I hear that. I personally come from Uganda. I am based in Kampala. This is East Africa. And we have one of the biggest challenges, not just homophobia, but homophobic laws and a lot of violence against LGBTQIA people, and quite a lot of violence against women as well. So I also think about inter-movement solidarity and collaborations and planning and figuring out, understanding that all our issues are interconnected, and how we can figure out a way to move forward in solidarity. I don't know if there are any other questions, but thank you so much. Some of the comments on the chat were to thank you so much for the conversation. Oh, I see a hand from Priya. Priya, would you like to go? There's a need.
Is there time, Lucky? It's okay. I can send later if.
We still have 9 minutes.
Okay. I can turn my camera.
If anyone can share. Yeah.
Hi, Namkeen. Thank you.
Thank you very much for
I wanted to ask, because this comes up a lot, especially in South Asia, that, culturally, trans rights, third gender rights is something that was there before colonization, and that people have existed in this space for so long. What are your thoughts on the way colonization has shaped the way queer people, trans people show up? I recognize that's such a big question, and South Asia is so broad. But I've just been really curious about how that has shaped the region in terms of trans spaces.
Yeah.
Like,
So
US and Western notions of trans people. Yeah.
yeah. In South Asia, transgender people have a very long history, and they were before colonization in Mughal era. Transgender people, like in 17th century, they are the most powerful people, and people were tell very pious and humble people. They were imagining that trans people are very, you can say, near to God, and they are very humble people, and their prayers are heard by the God. No? But when a colonization came to South Asia, then all thing changed, and you can say colonization criminalized trans individuals, and they took the charges of sodomy on trans individuals, that they are involved in sodomy and castration, and they are men, but they are pretending like this. from 1850 to till date, when British came here, we are facing that trans individuals are criminalizing and stigmatizing, by these, you can say, ideologies, that they are doing wrong things and they are sinful people, and they are, you can say, fighting with nature, and they are against the nature. So these type of sentiments came to South Asia regions, and the stigma and now the violence is the result of that sentiments. And still, we are facing a lot just because of anti-sentiments, which you can say colonization gave us. Yeah.
Thank you, Namkeen.
Yeah, thank you so much for that, Namkeen. And it also, I was just reflecting on how the history is almost the same in most parts of Africa. A lot of grounded spirituality and a lot of mediums were either transgender or non-binary. And with the introduction of Western religion and colonization, and kind of outlawing African religions, a lot of people were either labeled witches or outcasts, or people who shouldn't be living in society, when mostly that was a political move for colonization and spreading power. So, it's quite heartwarming and also heartbreaking at the same time to see how interconnected our histories are, our stories are, and also how colonialism kind of gets in the middle of everything. So thank you so much, Priya, for that question, and Namkeen for going into that history.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I think that we had a few 5 minutes, but I think that a lot of us, someone else has to leave, and we've had a few conversations. So thank you so much for making the time, everyone, to join in. This is just the start of the conversations. We will make sure to share this recording and a few excerpts for those who missed the call. And please also keep in touch. If you'd like to learn more about COFEM, please visit our website. And we're looking forward to more conversations. And thank you so much, Namkeen. If you have any other final words or comments you'd like to say, please go ahead.
Thank you very much once again, Kofam, Papul, and all of you that who give me time. So I'm very much, yeah, in future we will be touch definitely. And I'm sharing with you different things. So we will be a powerful ally. Yeah. So thank you very much again.
Thank you so much, everyone. And have a good rest of the day, morning, evening, from wherever you are. Yeah. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.